Hey everyone, so today we're actually going to be talking about violence and bullying among nurses. So with this topic today, we're kind of just going to go ahead and just discuss incivility, bullying, and just those components that make up violence and bullying in nursing that we kind of want to look out for and work on. So you have incivility, and incivility is the mistreatment of others, such as rolling your eyes or refusing to help your coworkers or being sarcastic. So incivility is just rude, discourteous, and disrespectful actions that are done towards others. Sometimes you may not know you're doing it, but you could be. And then that leads us to bullying. Bullying is the act of being rude or hostile, and it aims to intimidate those around you. And so bullying can be seen throughout healthcare, bullying can be seen in everyday life, and you just kind of want to do things to avoid that so that you don't hurt anyone else. And so in 1986, there was actually an article that was published by Judith Meisner, and it was published about 30 years ago, and she coined a phrase that said, "Nurses are eating their young." They are out here eating the new graduate nurses. So kind of want to figure out how we can avoid that. This was the first time that bullying was actually being discussed in the nursing setting, but this did not mean that this was something that was new. It was just the first time that it was finally being addressed. So someone just finally said, hey, this is very important and we're not discussing it as we should be. And so when most people think of bullying in the healthcare, they kind of think of it as being a vertical bullying where it's physicians bullying nurses, but they don't think about what it actually is in healthcare, which is nurses bullying nurses, veteran nurses bullying new grads, and no one really thinks about that. And so this could be caused by a number of different factors, such as nurses working on units more closely together, where physicians float to different floors. Individuals have their own set ways that they like to perform procedures, and just stresses on the unit. So let's go ahead and just talk about some of the negative effects of bullying, because there are absolutely no positives. So you have unsafe environment. Incivility and bullying creates an unsafe environment for not only the individuals who are working on the unit, but for the patients as well. And they are our primary focus. We all know as healthcare workers, patients come first. And so, along with the patients, it just kind of compromises the institution that you're working for, and then the nursing profession as a whole. And so just think about the nurses who are doing TikTok videos and dancing instead of taking care of their patients. That's actually bullying their patients when you're supposed to take care of your patients. And so we all know nursing is just a stressful job. Nursing school is stressful, so you know nursing is stressful. And added stress can contribute to burnouts, especially in new nurses who are more likely to feel incompetent and lost their first couple of months at work. And so what this does is just kind of becomes discouraging to those new nurses. And when that happens, it leads nurses to leaving their unit or even quitting the profession as a whole. And as we know, nursing does have a high turnover rate, so you don't want to lose your nurses. Instead, you want to kind of build that teamwork. And so with that, it leads to financial loss. So bullying and incivility can cause financial losses to institutions. And then institutions that get a bad rep for unpleasant nurses, they also take a financial hit. So everyone can lose money in this type of situation. And it also can be personal financial losses to nurses that are not only choosing to participate in bullying, but also the nurses who are actively being bullied because they choose to take off time from work, and then they also choose to quit their job. So it also takes money to pay for those education sessions, and this leads to emotional stress. So incivility can cause emotional stress within a clinical setting. It has actually been found that emotional stress may be linked to causing incivility among colleagues. So either way you look at it, both of these can cause patient care to be negatively impacted. And then sometimes you have things such as unknown behavior. Some instances of incivility may be unknown to the person who's actually carrying it out, and it may be caused by just being overworked or just stressed or just feeling unappreciated. But this provides a great opportunity for education staff to be aware of how we're treating each other and how we're interacting with each other. And so the greatest risk are those that are intentional. If a new nurse seeks advice from a veteran nurse and then that nurse intentionally dismisses them and is unhelpful, they are therefore putting their unit at risk and missing the opportunity to teach their young colleagues. And so with that, it comes with education versus reprimanding. You kind of want to just begin educating the staff on incivility and its effects during orientations, because the goal is to prevent it, not to react to it like in healthcare. Education is key. So let's think about emotional intelligence. It's the ability of an individual to remain in control of their feelings and think rationally through situations. Some are born with a higher ability for this, and then you have others that may struggle to develop this quality a little. So many facilities are actually beginning to educate their supervisors on these emotional intelligence development. And it has actually been found that nurse managers who have a high caliber of emotional intelligence run a higher functioning unit, and they can de-escalate situations better. So this actually helps improve that emotional critical thinking. And we all know critical thinking is necessary in nursing. And so what we kind of want to do is just put an emphasis on being a team player. Because at the end of the day, healthcare is about everyone on the team playing their part to provide the best patient care possible. If one member on the team comes to work with the intention of throwing another one off their game, then no one wins. So the goal is just working together as nurses.